Well, hi, and of course you saw me last time spraying purple on a bass guitar. Well, I've done some experiments and I thought, well, what the hell, let's make a series out of this. It's the second ever build, actually it's the third, the second is pretty much done. The third build of a Falcon Bellissimo Series 2. It's not a Franco signature. It is a generic Falcon Series 2 build. It can be made into a signature bass, of course, or it can be made into something else, depending on what the customer requests or what they would like. So I'm pretty far on in this build. The body's done, the body's spray painted and then level sanded, flat sanded. When I flat sanded it with the paint I had, if you saw the last video, you would know that the paint was nice, the spray can was crap, and yeah, didn't get a good job done. It was okay though, I flat sanded it. I can see some of the primer underneath. That's great. I've got more paint. I'll go very lightly over the top of that. Maybe 3 coats, very light coats. All be filled in, nice and even, ready for clear coat. But this episode, I want to show you what I've done with the neck. So, right, let's go and have a look at the neck, shall we?
I think we should have a look at the neck, shall we? Yes.
Awesome. Neck. As you can see, it's a headless neck. This neck is made of all oak. And I have no yellow ribbon to celebrate. So what I've done is I made a fretboard out of oak. You might have seen some photographs I have posted, yes, and I stained it with a mixture of a purple dye, very light purple dye, okay. I let that dry for 2 days, and then I put a red oak stain over the top, okay. I let that dry for 2 days. Now I'm going to maybe wax it or whatever, but after the fact. But what I did in the meantime is I made the neck blank here out of oak as well, 3/4 inch oak. Very, very solid and resilient. Truss rod can still bend it, by the way. And I put purple LEDs in as dot markers instead of mother of pearl. Yeah, they're purple LEDs. So, okay, I just unclamped it. Let's go and see if the LEDs work, shall we? That'd be an awesome thing to do. Shall we do that? Will we get a nice closer in angle on it, like up here or stuff? Let's do that, right? Yeah, close in now. And I'll probably pan around. I don't have my nice slidey thing on my camera jig, but I'll pan around and show you. I hope it works. So I've got a nice little resistor connected here. I'll have a proper circuit in the actual bass that this does for testing. And oh dearie me, what am I doing? I'll put that there. Put this here. Ooh, it's purple. Now, I think I should dim the lights, right? Let's try dim the lights. Dim these. And we will dim these. There you go. So it's kind of dark in here right now. Well, let's see how it looks. Oh, isn't that lovely? Purple. Purple rain. Purple rain. Anyway, so isn't that nice? And it goes all the way down to the 3rd fret, of course, where usual fret markers start. It's down here. That's where the head piece is going to go in the headless space. Let's just stick that in there. See? Isn't that lovely? Isn't she lovely? I wish I could sing. Anyway, so it's looking good. If I just wrap this on, actually, keep them on while I'm talking, and well, maybe not, because I am being beckoned here. Okay, so doesn't that look nice? Now, a strange thing about the purple LEDs is, if I go down here, we have a, sorry about that, a battery, 9-volt battery with a 100 ohm resistor for testing. What does that mean? Well, if I put a 100 ohm resistor for testing with a 9-volt battery on red LEDs, I'd probably burn them out. Why is that? Interesting. Well, I'm going to have to put some AC on here because I've got this place darkened and stuff, and I'm choking to death because it's 95 degrees outside. Hold on. Here we go. Alright. Well, the reason is, and if I just pan out there, bring up here. Oh, bright light. The reason is that different diode colours, light emitting diode colours, have a different forward bias voltage, yes, and current demands, all to do with the PN junction and how it's been doped to get the colour. So what I had to do was adjust the resistance. You start off with a high resistance. The specification of the LEDs that I got told me what I should be doing, and you know, that's what I did. I went above that though. I got a high resistance in there and they were very dim. So I put lower and lower resistance and made sure my equations were okay, and we get that beautiful colour. And I'll still have a variable brightness on them. It just won't be to the extent it'll be very bright, because if it's dark and you're playing on stage, you've got an ultraviolet spectrum LED there that might change somebody's channels on a television. No, just joking. You know, it makes sense. You know, when it burn out your neck. So the next stage in developing this neck is to get it sort of sanded down flush-ish, right? Then carved. Let's carve and sand. So that's it sanded, roughly, into shape, into dimension. Now it looks like a block of wood right now with lights in it. So what we're going to do next? Well, if you notice, what's happened is I stained this piece of oak that is the fretboard, and now on the side you can see it looks like one continuous piece of wood, as you can see there, doesn't it? Yes, good sanding. Yes, I know it was. You see little low spots there, but that's going to be hand sanded afterwards. I don't believe in machine sanding everything. I hand sand the rest. And then what do? Well, I've got to make a decision. Do I want the top of the fretboard, which is still oak, it's all oak, this neck, do I want it to be dark and the sides light? Or do I want this to be dark, which I do want, purpley red oak colour, and the side of the fretboard purpley red oak colour? And the answer to that is yes, number 2, yes, the second one. I want a delineation between the fretboard and the neck. I mean, call me old fashioned. You do happen to have the maple necks, as everyone knows, a maple neck and a maple fingerboard or fretboard, and you'll see the join because it's different grain cross on it. It has to be. But you will see that join, but it won't delineate it in a markedly stark way. And I like stark, you know. Stark in German means strong, see? So, stark, ich bin stark, rah! So, why did I do that? Why, you know, anyway. So I'm going to do that. I'll hand figure this down. The Benwell carving there. Everything. Oh, after sanding I didn't test if the LEDs still work. I should test. We test that all the time. It's just delicate stuff here. It shouldn't be, but it kinda is, and it kinda shouldn't be. Let's see. Yeah, they're still purple. Awesome. So that's good. So on to the next, which is just hand sanding this down into shape, and then we'll begin the carve. Whereas we turn this like that, and we get the Shinto, and we fucking do that crap. I'm not going to do too much right now, but that's what we do. We carve that, and I'll make marks, you know, in between the first fret there to rise, and down near the 19th fret here for the shoe or heel of the neck. And again, I'll go through that process and show you. I'm not going to fret this until the end. I did do a fingerboard earlier. It's fretted. It's not going there. No. There you go. Oh, yeah. Oh, look, I've got frets in it already. So, that's what's going on. Catch you later. Ah, yes. As you can see, we're carving necks again. And I'm about 65% the way there, I think. Now look at this oak neck. Look at the grain in that. This is spectacular. Let's zoom in a little bitty. See that? Nice. Shinto is awesome. I have a grinding tool to start it off. I start it off and grind the edges. Then I blend in the neck with the fingerboard, you know, and then I just start to round it off. As you can see, I've cut a notch here, and if I pan back out, a notch here. The notch here, the depth or the end dimension of the thickness of the neck here is like going to be 21 millimeters, and up here it's 24 millimeters. It's thin neck on the Falcon Series 2. So all we've got to do now is start shaping it, and the shaping is going along very well. I'm using the sort of the rough side of the Shinto right now. You can see that's pretty rough. There is a smooth side, and as I've said before, it's like a interwoven bandsaw blades, the Shinto. And it's very good. It's very good. So it gets rid of a lot of material very quickly, which is always a good thing. Accurately as well though. Now, you see that's starting to disappear. I can tell where I've taken off more and I've taken off less by the shape of the notch here. So I just follow the profile, get it all down, and by the time these notches disappear, I will know that my neck is ready. And then I'll just take a sort of longer straight edge and do that. Probably not that long. Do this and go down there and see if I've got any high spots. I want a nice taper from 24.5 or 24 millimeters to 21. And that'll be our neck done. We can sand it down to about, I would say about 400. Then I'm going to put some green filler in it, sand and sealer, and buff it down again. And then this one's going to get, I'm thinking about an oil or a wax finish. I don't like putting poly on necks. I did do that for Franco's. That was a special request and I got it still smooth. But oil or wax for a neck is my preference, and this is going to be my demo unit anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. Awesome, let's go on with it. Yes, so the neck is now carved and it's sanded down to 220 grit. You see I've masked it off right now because I'm restaining the fingerboard after all that work. Good to get a base layer of stain down on the fingerboard and then leave it to dry before you carve. I always found that to be better because then when you go to finish stain it, it takes the stain much better. Strange that, isn't it? That's the way it works. Now after staining that, you might have got some stain on the LEDs, of course. So you just take a Q-tip and give it a little wipe. Just wipe the LEDs. You know, get some cotton hair stuck on the fingerboard there. You just wipe them off. There won't be much stain on them because the act of brushing the stain on with a cotton cloth kind of wipes it off as well, but as you can see, yeah, there was stuff in there. Always good to clean it up. Now we're going to let that dry. I've not really decided what I want to do with this oak neck. I mean, the grain's spectacular on it, so I might, I may lay a dark stain down in it and then sand it, and then go over it with a protective, some grain filler, and then sand and sealer, and then finish it with wax or oil. So I'm thinking of bringing out the grain a bit better in the neck, in the back of the neck. What's the point of having this nice beautiful piece of oak if you're just going to cover it? It's just my way of thinking. Of course, any customer of mine is entitled to what they want on their instrument, irrespective if it's made of oak or alder or maple, any of the other woods that I use in making bass guitars. I've got to stain the end there. There we go. Alright. down in the bend well there. Stay in there. Alright, that's good. Okay, so set that aside, let it dry, and then we'll go into the rear of the neck, get that finished up. Then we're good to go with the neck. All I need to do is just engrave it. I usually engrave a Series 2. Actually, I've only ever built one, but all the process is written down now and everything, so I engrave it here in the bend well, and my logo is on the back. And I make a little plate here, of course, for protection from strings not scraping against the wood. Alright, awesome. Welcome to another bit of fun on the router table. And I have my control plate template here, and a piece of mother of pearl purple pickguard control plate material here. I'm going to just bevel out on the routing table. I'm going to keep the routing table set up because I want to make some actually I might go with wooden pickup rings. We'll see anyway. This is very loud, so headphone wearers, be warned. Nicely routed out and smooth. It's all got a nice slight bevel in it. I didn't want too much of a bevel in it. It looks kind of crap with a huge bevel in it. Okay, and that's it. That's ready to be drilled now. And of course I keep it on the template. I'm going to be drilling through that way, so I'm going to make sure I've got another piece like of wood here, so that when I drill through it's sandwiched and I don't get burrs all over the place. That's what I'm going to do with that. And I think I'm actually going to go with stained, probably stained maple actually, purple pickup rings instead of that. That'll be more variety on the body, I think. So let's go with that. Cool. So we've had the control plate on the drill press, pressing the drill or drilling the press, whatever. Pressing on the drill, drilling on the press. And let's take this apart now. Sorry about that. And there we go. There it is. Looks quite nice, right? Sparkles. Now, of course, it's got burrs and stuff on it, and this is just the protective plastic coating that's over the top to allow you to work on it, because it gets all scuffed up and crap. And the sandwiching worked. Got nice clear holes there. There's not any blowout in the laminate, which is good. If there is, cyano is your friend. Just a touch of that in there and press it down. You'll be fine. This of course will be copper backed, coated in copper tape for shielding, and we're ready to go with this. That's that made. Nice smooth edges and everything. Fantastic. Yes, well, back to the neck again. I re-stained this, it's nearly dry. So I'm going to do a quick test, then we're going to mask off the fingerboard and everything, and we're going to stain the main part of the neck, and I'll show you the carve in a minute. We'll just retest the LEDs, and we're good. And you can see that it's a bit bright in here, isn't it? Wait a minute. It's a bit better, isn't it? Yeah, that's okay. You have to have a lot of light. You understand, don't you? You understand. So that's that, and here's the carve. All smoothed out, ready to go. Lovely to touch. I like to touch it. Very smooth. Right? And actually a little bit of sanding I have to do left yet here. Flatten that out a bit. And once I've done that, we'll mask it off. And I'm going to put a deep stain into the grain here. And I'm going to sand the neck back down again to 400 grit. And we'll see what happens. Now, I'm going to do, I might use the purple dye for this. It will go into the grain, and if you use the dye, it'll dry out, and then I can use a grain filler and a sanding sealer to lock that in. And I'm thinking about finishing the neck in shellac, actually, which will be awesome, I think. I'll just show you. Shellac. Shellac. It's very nice. Stinks though. So we'll be using that. I think it's either that or wax or oil, but shellac gives a good finish and does not stick, and you can sand it nicely. Or I'll use the shellac as a sealer and then go over it with oil, you know, like a tongue oil or something. We'll see. Okay, gonna go with the purple dye. I tried a bit on the heel there, and I like it a lot. I like it a lot. I've got the fan on in here and some AC on because it's boiling hotty outside. And I'm just going to go over this now, my purple dye mix. And we'll see how the green looks when we do this. And I only masked off the front of the fingerboard, you know. That's all I did, because I actually want the edge of the fingerboard to have a stain effect and some purple in there, just like the fingerboard itself does. Okay, so we'll just go in there. You see that grain starting to come out? Looks very nice, doesn't it? Yes. Dye takes a little while to get even. That's okay. That's okay. We're all fine here. Yeah. Wipe that on. Sure that's getting in there. On the contours, just take extra care here at the contours. Flat surfaces, you know, fine. But the other surfaces, the curved surfaces, you get some more absorption because of end grain and stuff like that. So just be a little careful. You will get some separation of the colours. That only adds to the allure. You know, adds to the allure. Now the bend well, I'm not sure about the bend well. I think I'm going to leave the bend well for now, and then decide what I want to do with it afterwards. Just, you know, go over this, keep going over it. I'm going to wait for that to dry, and then I'm probably going to apply another coat and then sand it. It's probably the best bang for the buck, because I'm going to take most of the dye out if I sand it just with one coat without it penetrating the wood too much, you know. So up we go, some on here, lovely, and always remember to do the end of the neck as well. Don't be scared to plonk it down, make sure you get some nice brown paper down there. Let's do the end here. Nice. This is water based, comes off pretty easily, so it's non-toxic. It's not food grade or anything, but it's non-toxic. The ends there. Don't be scared to get some in your hands. If you're really bothered, put gloves on. This stuff is non-toxic. I don't think it's allergenic either. And I'll probably tell you the brand that I use. And I feel like it, you know. And we've got a nice purple neck now. Isn't that nice? It looks phantasmagorical, doesn't it? It really looks good, and the grain's coming out really nice in this. But I can tell it's going to need probably about 3 coats. 2 coats, sand, then another light coat I think, and maybe even a sand after that, I'm not sure. But you know, I do want the grain to be accentuated, and it is actually accentuated. Let's go in a little bit here. See that? Yeah. Go down further a little bit. See that? Yeah. Yeah, it's looking good. I'll go with that. I will go with that. Where the hell did I put my... Excuse me, I'm going to get in the way here. It's a different shade of purple, isn't it? But that just adds to the niceness. Look. Purple finger, like soap and water. It's not a problem. Not poisonous. Don't worry. It's just a bloody mess, that's all. Anyway. Here we go. Let's come back out there. As you can see, the widest angle I've got in this camera. Yes. And here we go. That'll take about 20 minutes to dry. Yeah, it will. Put some alcohol on it, it'll take about 15 minutes. So I'll push it further into the wood, but it'll dry the wood out somewhat. And I do want to condition the wood before I go any further. Look at the state of that. Before I go any further, I was going to wipe that on my t-shirt. I'll put on this. That's better. Not still. Purple finger. Da, da, da. So, wait for that to dry. Then when we come back, I don't know what you'll be seeing. Okay. Awesome. Okay, we'll have some 400 grit here. I sanded it to 400 before, and I've done some sanding, as you can see, on the neck. And doesn't that look? That looks really nice. Let's put some light on there, so you can see. See that? Mottled effect. If I sort of pan the camera up, I've left this kind of solid. I think I'm going to grain fill and seal this and then paint it, the top, and then I can laser engrave my logo in there. 400 grit. I've done this part already. Well, a lot of it. I normally come from here and go up the way, but I'll go down the way so you can see what I'm doing. Just over the contour of the neck. Don't put it too tight in the vise, use your chest to hold that in place. And just go over it. Make sure it's nice and blendy looking. And just sand it down. And actually the one coat is going to do this. In my opinion, it's going to be fine with just the one coat. There you go, look at that. There's some mottling here, we'll get rid of that though. But it looks absolutely fantastic. I'll probably give this an alcohol wash as well, just to blend it a bit more. But it looks very good. Grain's now purple, and it's popping. I'll just take off the bits that I don't want. And that's a good thing about this, about the dye, you just take off the bits you don't want. It's too solid up here. I'll just sand that a little bit away, and it goes away. You're not changing the contour of the neck really. Not at all in fact. Still my patented contour on this neck. Special contour I carve into it. So I think, yeah, I'm going to paint this so it's solid. And then it's in stark contrast to this purple green, you know, that you've got there. And we'll do the bottom here, of course. I haven't sanded yet, as you can see. See that? Not sanded. I need to switch it around though to sand that, because you know I'm getting near the vise there. But as you can see, it is coming away. Don't use anything more than lower than 400 grit on this. You'll take away too much material and you'll compromise the contour of the neck. Just be patient and see that come through. Look at it come through. I didn't say kung fu, I said come through. Okay. I saw wow. Right, so there you go. That, my friends, looks awesome. Yeah, I just want to show you the clear coat on the purple base. Yeah, so we've got the metallic purple on there. I had to flat sand it from last week, but that's fine because I got an even better result now. I did this about an hour ago. 3 coats of the purple paint there, allowed to flash 10 minutes in between coats. Okay, 10 minutes. Then I did 3 coats of the clear. You can see, turns out pretty good, eh? Pretty good. That's the catalyzed polyurethane. Once you get used to using it, it's just a miracle. It's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. Anyway, I think that's all we've got time for this week. Next week, hopefully we'll be starting to finish off the neck and assemble the thing. Who knows? But until then, you've got to be good, stay safe, and catch you next time. Cheers. Bye bye.